All right, we're back again. For another session of Empowerment Talk with Arise with David. First of all, before we get started, I do want to thank everyone very personally from the bottom of my heart for you guys that have been supporting this Arise with David movement. I appreciate you. If it was not for you, right, this movement, this thought, that I had about a year ago would not have flourished. And I just thank you for your continued support. Things have been going great with this movement, even though it's not on the front screen or the big screen, now or yet. But it is coming. It is coming. And we continue to speak great things over this movement, that it will reach the heights where it's destined to be, So like my quote says, your tomorrow gets its momentum from the words that you speak today. So everything that I speak over, me personally, my family, and also this blogging community will succeed. And you should do the same thing in life, right? So you should encourage yourself and empower yourself that anything that you put your mind to, you can do it. So look, that's enough of that. All right. So like I said earlier, we want to thank everyone for following the Rise with David movement. For some of you that have been logging on, reading our blogs. We had a blog recently about don't let an apology paralyze you. Sometimes we allow individuals in this life to do negative things to us. And what happens is that we allow what they have done us to have us in our mind thinking that, hey, that they're going to come and apologize and you're looking for closure. But not all the time you deal with someone that's going to apologize. Long as you come to a place in your heart where you have released it, whatever it is, and let it go, hey, keep it moving. Don't stay in the place of stuck, right? So go and read that blog. We posted that blog last week. It's the picture of the wheelchair and saying, sorry, right? Don't allow that apology that you're waiting on for closure out of that friendship, that relationship, that familyship, whatever it is, right? That co-worker's relationship or whatever it is. Don't allow that to keep you in a place of stuck, right? So good. So go out there and log on www.arisewithdavid.org. That blog is waiting for you, and I know that it will help and touch you. A couple of weeks ago, we also posted something about another blog that will be coming up. This blog will be kind of go hand in hand with a live video that I'm going to do. And it's talking about defending a cause that defames your character. Let me tell you, sometimes you can support a cause for the passion that you have in your heart to defend this cause. And in the midst of defending this cause, people look at you in a negative connotation and they start to defame your character because, you're that person that just don't allow things to happen that's unethical to other individuals. Or you're that type of person that don't allow unethical things to happen to yourself. So when you speak up about it and when you go against it, individuals look at you like you're this militant person, like you're just this trouble person. But at the end of the day, you're confronting individuals and exposing individuals that are doing unethical things to people. And in that process, you know that people will defame your character. Even though you're trying to support them, even though you're trying to help and aid them, individuals will take you down every time. So look, it's going to be a live video and a blog that's going to work hand in hand. And the name of that blog and the name of that video is Defending a Cause That Defames Your Character. So next week, next couple weeks or so, be looking for that. But we'll put out some some advertisement and all that good stuff. You know how we do it. We have the nice pictures and all that stuff come on social media and let you guys know when it's going to be live and when you can tune in. Well. Today we have a very, very special guest, a great friend, a great dear friend of mine. Came into a path of this young man maybe about 4 or 5 years ago when we worked for this company downtown Dallas, and this young man had just gotten out of college and was in a position where he was building his skill, building his career, trying to find out, what's his niche, and this dude was in accounts receivable, and the first day of work that I showed up, this guy had his long hair, and and he was chilling, looking all hippie-ish and stuff, So, man, this guy here, I've grown to love him. I've grown to be there for him anytime that he need me. I mean, any idea that he ever brings to my attention, I'm always there to give a listening ear. Whatever resources I can get to support him, because I know that he's a great man, and which is the reason why he was visiting Dallas. And I was like, well, man, while you are here, come and talk to the people that supports the Arise with David movement, man. So we have today Mr. Cody Wooten, man. Oh, man, we're just so excited to have you, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, David.
Good.
Loving life, things are good.
Yeah, loving life. Hey, that's what it's all about, right? Loving life and living life at its best, right? Cool. So look, man, so, it's been a while. I mean, of course, we're always talking on the phone. We're always chit-chatting on the phone. But it's been a while since we've seen each other face to face, man.
Far too long.
It's been a long time, man. But so there's been some great things. So I know, man, we started out in the well, I didn't start out. When I met you, you were in the accounting and finance industry, but
Yes.
now you're doing things totally different, like
Completely different,
man. And hey, man, the sky's the limit. When when we were working together. Anything that you put your mind to it, even though your heart may not have been in what you were doing day to day, but you put your best foot forward. Every single thing that I ever gave you, you were just right there to get it done, man. And I just appreciate you so much for that. With that being said, you have another company, or you have an entrepreneur thing going on right now called Loco Coyote Enterprises. So we're gonna get Cody, man. Tell us a little bit about Loco Coyote, man. Like, what does it mean?
Sure. So Loco Coyote Enterprises, there's a couple pieces that go along with this. When I first started down the entrepreneurial journey, I started with my girlfriend, who's now my fiance.
Woo! Nelly!
Which was awesome. So yeah. Loco comes from a combination of our names. Her last name is Lopez. My first name's Cody.
Yes.
Put it together, Loco.
Right.
So it's capital L, lowercase o, capital C, lowercase o.
Right. Now, do you guys have any social media where people can follow you or anything like that?
So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
I also have a website, www.lococoyote.enterprises.
Cool.
So no .com, there's no com at the end, just .enterprises.
That's what's up, man. So I know we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that you want to do something bigger, right?
Yes.
It's always good to think bigger and to do things bigger. And you said that your thought process has been to kind of make this Loco Coyote thing like your parent company of some other branches of companies that you're doing.
Yes.
And I know now you've been in this path of grooming leaders and helping individuals in their space to be great leaders, man. So tell us about the whole branch from Loco Coyote called the Leadership Guy, right?
Yeah. So about, this would be going on 3 years now. I really started to dive into personal development. When I was growing up, I hadn't heard a lot about personal development, but everything I heard around this concept of personal development, it was a lot of, like, my mindset then was that people who were always down on their luck and didn't feel good, those were the type of people who looked into personal development. And I was like, that's not me. I'm not that guy. Right. And like, I was a fool, to be completely honest. I was more that guy than I realized. Which most people are. Right. And I've come to realize that personal development is probably the number one thing that people are not taught in their lives, that people need in their lives. And so for me, one of the big parts of that journey was learning about this guy named John Maxwell.
Yes.
Phenomenal teacher on leadership. Yeah. He started off in the church. His first church that he was a pastor of, he had 3 people that were there. It was him, his wife, and one other practitioner there. And he grew that church to 300 people. Then he went to another church. He grew that church to 1,000 people.
Wow.
And Exactly. Huge church.
Wow.
And then he kind of blew up from there. Started doing online teachings through audios and stuff like that. And then he got this calling to transition into the secular world and really focus on the concept of leadership.
Okay.
And so that's where I kind of came in and I learned about some of the works he had.
Right.
It started with his book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth.
Great book.
Phenomenal book. If you have not read that book, definitely I would pick it up, go to Half Price Books, and pick it up from there. Right.
Man, you said something great. You said personal development. Isn't it something how just now you gave an example that you were offered this deal talking about this person, this leader, and then little did you know it was really within you. I mean, personal development is something that helps us daily, whether that's in your career, whether if it's in your personal life, whether it's in your anything that you do, you should always work to develop yourself personally. Hence the reason why all of this came about with the rise of David, because I reached a point in my life where I felt like I was at a stagnant place, and I knew that I was uncomfortable, and I knew I had to get to this level where I had to develop those great things that I had in me, man. And it's so great that you would now be a coach in leadership, right? When we were actually in that same space, man. When I remember that day when I promoted you as lead, as lead of the team, because I always knew that you had that leadership quality, that leadership capability within you to cause you to do the great things that you're doing right now. So what it does is it takes individuals that you come into encounter with in your life to see the greatness in you in order to help you bring that greatness out. So we'll talk a little bit about that later, talking about positivity. But let's go ahead straight into this interview and let's talk to this guy here, man. Awesome. So look, Cody, man, I know that we've known each other for some years now.
Yes.
And we've shared some personal things as friends. I remember at the company where I used to work for, everyone there used to call that my vanilla son. Of course, I'm the black man, and the guy that I'm always hanging with and always going to lunch, and if wherever David is, there's Cody, so they would just refer to him as my my vanilla son, but based upon those conversations, those many things that we talked about, man, what has given you like that drive to not just want to settle for things that that you have come into encounter with? What has it been in your life to cause that drive to keep the momentum going? Because you've had some shaky things take place in your adolescence, in your childhood, but now as a man, you have not allowed that to influence you or impact you to stay in that place of stuck, man. Talk to the people, man. Tell us about like where does that drive come from that you have?
So for me, I think it really starts to pretty much when I was a young child baby. I grew up basically raised by 3 women. I was raised by my mother, my grandmother, and my aunt.
Yes.
And so the reason that is because I had a father who decided not to be a part of my life. He had an interesting story. Yeah. He was married to 2 women at the same time. He was married to someone else before he got married to my mother. Wow. So when my mother figured that out, she's a very strong person. Yeah. So when she heard about this, she
shouts out to the strong women, the strong mothers. Yes.
Amazing what women are doing and raising children on their own.
Yes, man.
Just huge blessing.
Most definitely.
So my mother got full custody of me. Now my father had the ability to come see me, right? But he chose never to come see me. Wow. And so as a young kid, you have to ask yourself, like, why would someone do that? Yes. Right? Yeah. Make a choice not to really be a part of someone else's life.
Right.
And so
it's one thing, Cody. Let me put a very right there, because I see one of my friends logged in, and he was in he was in one of the same situations where he wanted to be in his child's life. Hey, I'm the poster child. I'm preaching to the choir right now. I mean, my situation, right? So he wanted to be in his kid's life, and he wanted to be there, but that other parent was like, no, they wanted to control the visitation, all this other stuff. But, there are men out there that want to be in their kid's life, but, the opposite sex, whether it's the ex-wife, the ex-girlfriend, the ex-baby mom, whatever you want to call it, don't want that person in life. But then there's that sector of men that just don't want to be in their children's life, man. And this is where this young man was.
Yeah. And so I was growing up with that kind of thought behind my head. Mm-hmm. But luckily for me, I had 3 women who were all very strong leaders in my life.
Yes.
And they all had different ways of approaching life.
Yeah.
Which for me was awesome because I got to learn from each of the different styles of leadership.
Gotcha.
So my mother, she's a very strong person. She's very direct. Mm-hmm. Get to the point. Let's get things done.
Yeah.
You know, don't let anything ever stop you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had my aunt who was the happy-go-lucky kind of person.
Yeah.
Right. So she's always looking to have fun. What can we do?
Right.
You know, let's enjoy life.
Right.
And then my grandmother was the person who was more of the listener.
Yeah.
Who would really get in there and try and figure out, you know, your emotions and how can I help you with where you are at?
Right.
And so like each of these 3 different personalities
mm-hmm.
really influenced me growing up.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing how the 3 different personalities, like you said, your mom had one personality, your aunt had another personality, your grandmother, and kind of all 3 of those things kind of played a major key role in your upbringing.
Yeah.
And it kind of, it impacted you to be the person who you are
Definitely.
Today, you know?
Yes.
So with that drive, you know, and I know it probably was not easy to have a father and for him not to want to be in your life, right? So why is it that now you're at the point where you want to do better than what you experienced in your upbringing?
It's because I had those good people in my life who showed me what does a good leader look like.
Yeah.
And I also had that bad leader to look at to say what not to do in a life.
Wow.
And so I had a decision. I could either be, you know, I could grow up and make myself a product of my environment and say, you know, because my father wasn't there.
Yes.
I can be, you know, what a fatherless figure could become,
mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I can make a decision and say that I am going to be a different person growing up.
Right.
You know, I can change the world if I want to change the world.
Right.
And that's the decision I made.
Right.
And
it's all
so
about a
anything,
decision.
exactly.
Yes.
Everything in life is a decision.
Yes. Yeah.
That no matter what happens, not everything is in your control.
Right.
You can't control everything.
Right.
Like, that'd be kind of interesting if you could, but
Right.
that's just not how reality works.
Right.
And so you can't control what happens all the time,
Right.
but you can choose how you react to what happens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And to go a little further, man, that is great. He said that you cannot control what happens in life, but you can control the way you react to the happenings of life. And to take that a step further, because, you know, the Rise of David movement is this positive movement that you think positive will happen. You surround yourself with positivity, then that will kind of catapult you into that area where you need to be. So with that being said, you know, even though you may not be aware of what's happening, don't be negative about what you don't know what's going to happen. Don't be negative about the outcome of the happenings, right? Always be in a position to be able to handle what is coming up on your way. So, man, look, I know that you have this drive from mom, aunt, grandmother. Now, is your grandmother still here?
She's still here.
Oh, man.
Definitely.
Your aunt as well?
Yes.
Awesome. So you have those 3 pillars. Wow, 3 pillars. You have those 3 pillars.
It's funny how things happen in threes. Right?
I know, right? Great, man. And let me tell you, it's good how you have those 3 pillars in your life that has kind of sustained you and made your foundation strong for you to be who you are right now.
One thing I would add, there are a lot of people who don't have pillars in their lives like that.
Yes.
And I was blessed to have those pillars in my life.
Yes.
Now, if you're one of those people out there right now who don't have a pillar like that in your life, the great thing is you don't have to be a product of your environment still. Wow. There are so many people in the world who can be a great pillar for you, who want to be a great pillar for you.
Yes.
And you can go out and seek those people.
Right.
They are there. David is one of those people. I am one of those people that want to see people succeed to the highest levels.
Yes.
And you can choose, instead of being the product of your environment, of the past, of the things you can't control, go out, create your future, find those people who can be a pillar for you, who will help you on your journey to emerging into who you want to become.
Man, Man, go ahead, man. So this dude is really doing a great job. Let me tell you, when this dude first started out, this dude didn't say 2 freaking words, and then
I'm
now
usually very quiet.
very quiet, man. And when I first saw him, he was like, "Man, you just a little introvert." And I was like, "Man, I'm gonna talk to Cody today. I'm like, see what he's gonna say." Now he's trying to take my damn empowerment talk away from me, man. It's so good, man. When you said not to become a product of your environment. Let me tell you, man. Growing up. In my day growing up, whether if it was around family or not non-family, it was just always some type of negativity. Yeah. Whether if it was negativity that, you weren't going to succeed or negativity that, I'm better than you and you're down here, I'm up here. In your adolescence, you're approached with all types of negative stuff, right? But at the end of the day, once you put your mind to it, you can change. You can change.
Anything.
You can change those things. Don't be a product of your environment. This dude just said it, right? You don't have to be a product of your environment. You control the things that happen in your life. Don't be upset about the path that you made a bad decision and the path that you're on right now and you want to be off that path. Guess what? Make a decision and change your mind today. Somebody's out there right now that want to do something great. Heard this young man talk about his new business. Heard this young man talk about like what gives him the drive. Guess what? There are pillars, just like he said. I'm a pillar. He's a pillar. There's pillars out there that want to support you and want to push you in life to be the best you. Not everyone in life is looking for an offering to give you that wisdom or that encouragement to do or be the best you. Right? Some of us just get off on pouring into individuals to see them grow and to see them become the people that they are today. So just like he said, if you don't have any pillars in your life, if the pillars that you think you have in your life, every time that you share something, an aspiration that you want to do and they shoot it down, that's not a pillar.
No.
Right? If you have someone in your life that, you can't trust, you can't trust them, you feel like they wear several faces in front of different people, that's not a pillar.
No.
A pillar is someone who is very transparent.
Yeah.
Very honest and loving and will tell you when you're wrong, tell you when you're right, when you are right. Those are the type of people that you need around you. Those cultivators, and I always talk about it. Those individuals that will push you to where you need to be. So look, man, you were talking about your mom, your aunt, your grandmother being so influential in your life, right? What are some personal experiences that you can help us out with? That's maybe someone out there that can relate with you. Some personal experiences that you can recall, sometimes where, you wanted to give up on some stuff, where you just wanted to just throw in the towel and just, tell a referee you're done, right? So tell us about a time that you had a personal experience that can help somebody. Maybe they're in it right now.
Yeah, so probably the biggest one that I can think of that went like that was I was in college, and there was a point where I was engaged to someone else, not who I'm with currently, but to someone else.
Yes.
And the whole relationship, honestly, looking back on it now, was really bad. Mm-hmm. There were places that she wanted to go that was very different from places that I wanted to go, and it just didn't mesh, right? But I was the type of person that wanted to try and make things work, right? And so that was something that I thought would make things work,
right?
Right. And it doesn't play out like that.
Right.
If there are things that are broken, you have to look to fix what's broken, and if you can't fix those things, then you can't keep that going. It's not going to work out, and if you let that go on long enough, it will literally blow up in your face. And that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
There's a point where she left me. 2 weeks later, she was with the person I thought was my best friend.
Wow. I know somebody's going through that, the side piece deal.
Yeah. And so now I'm at this point where this guy who I thought was my best friend has gone behind my back to be with the person I thought I was going to spend my life with.
Wow.
Right? On top of that, I was still living with this guy. And so it wasn't like I could just get out of the environment and just leave. Right? And so I had about 6 months where I was living next to these two people, basically.
Wow.
It's harsh, right?
Wow.
And there were points during that entire thing where I wanted everything to be done. Where I would, this is how bad it got. There were days where I would literally look out the window because we were on the second or third floor of that building. And I just thought about how simple it would be to just dive out the window. How quickly it would all be over. That's not a fun place to be at. No. And I know for a fact there are people out there right now who are feeling that kind of heartbreak.
Yeah.
That are feeling that kind of in the dump.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now the thing is, that stuff's going to happen in life. Yeah. There's going to be stuff that you can't control.
Right.
There's going to be bad crap that happens to you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have to define you. And it took me time to really step away from that situation. Right? To really discover, who am I? Right? Because during that relationship that I was in, I wasn't who I had the potential to become. I had lessened myself a lot because this other person didn't have the types of dreams I had. Didn't have these large dreams.
Right.
Because I'm very much a dreamer.
Right.
And so I allowed that environment at that point to shorten my dreams. It's part of the reason, actually, why I got into accounting.
Wow.
Because I figured that it would be a stable place, right, where I could make a good paycheck and things would be all right, and I could do it wherever, so it didn't matter where we lived. Right. It's not because I was passionate about accounting, because if I was extremely passionate about accounting, I would make that my career, and that's not where I want my career to be in the future. You know. And so I allowed it at that time to really shape me. And so once the relationship ended and I gave myself time to step away from it, I looked at the situation differently, right? A lot of times we get in those situations and we think, we just think about all the bad things that happen, right? And so when I put myself away, I changed my mindset to say, what are the good things that happened? Right. And I learned a lot about myself during that period when I said, what are some good things I can pull from this? And that's something anyone can do, no matter what your situation is, no matter how bad it is, no matter how, awful and humiliating or, just heartbreaking, whatever it is, you can always step back and decide, right, to think about it in a different way. Right?
Sir.
What are some lessons I can learn from this?
Yes,
what are some good things that can come out of this?
Yes.
So one of the things I figured out was I'm a completely different person, and that path that I was headed on is not where I really wanted to be. Right? So being out of that relationship allowed me to pursue a path that I was meant to go down. Right? Getting out of that relationship, I saw different people who were in my environment, right? That really just weren't good role models, who weren't good figures to be there, that looked at the world very negatively. And so I looked at the world similarly, and I didn't want to look at the world like that. But when you're around it so often, it's so simple how quickly your mind can start changing how it looks at it.
Wow, that's good.
So
that's
getting
good,
out of that environment, I figured out I don't have to look at the world like that. Because the world is an amazing place. There is so much you can do. There are so many opportunities, right? And there are people right now probably listening, and I see you right there, right? Where you're saying, there's nothing for me. There's no opportunities. I don't know there's nothing that tomorrow's going to bring. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're wrong. There are so many opportunities that are literally right here in front of you. The opportunity may show up in 5 minutes. Right? The opportunity may show up in a week, but that opportunity is there. And that opportunity, if you decide to take it, will completely change your life.
Yes. But you have to be willing to take it.
And you have to have your eyes open for it too. Right? When you allow that environment to really shape you, right? A lot of times you stop looking for what else is possible. Right? If you stop and decide that, no, maybe there are opportunities out there, and just begin to keep your eyes open for what else could be, right? That's when you'll start to find it. One of the things you've talked about, David, is how the power of the words you have, right? The power of your thoughts, right? When they're negative, this is neuroscience we're talking about. when you think in a certain way, your mind's kind of like a search engine, right?
Listen.
It will look.
Listen, please listen.
It will look for exactly what you tell it to look for.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you say that the world is bad,
Mm-hmm.
that there's no opportunities, that I can't make money, that people don't like me, right? The search engine literally will find all the examples, right?
Yes.
That show exactly that to you.
Wow.
Literally, right?
Wow, that's good.
And if you want a practical example of this, right? And we'll take this into a little nicer area, right?
Yeah.
Think about a time you decided that you wanted to buy a new car,
Mm-hmm.
right? Before you decided on that car,
Mm-hmm.
you would never see that car anywhere on the road. As soon as you make the decision that this is the car I want, you will literally see it everywhere. And you're like, did everyone decide to buy the same car as me at the same time? Right? But no, that's not what happened.
Right.
The thing is, you've told the search engine in your mind to look for something different.
Yes.
And that's why you're starting to see it everywhere.
Yes.
Now, you can do that with everything in your life, right?
Yes.
If you tell the search engine to look for negative things, right? If you say, I'm hopeless, that I can't find good things, that search engine will literally find all the things that are negative, right? But if you change your mindset and make a decision right now that I want to find opportunity, that I want to find good things, that I want to find people who love me, that I want to find people who are going to show me a better path, right? Your mind will literally start to look for all the places it can find that. Yes. And before you know it, it's crazy how quickly everything can change.
Everything.
Literally, your entire life can change in a matter of months.
Wow. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true, man. I am 189% on your side when you said that, because I mean, so I just wrote it down, man. You control your search engine. He said when you think negative, oh man, that is so good, because I always tell my friends, I'm like, you know, one of them, he's like, I'm broke. I don't have any money. If you say you're broke, you're gonna be broke.
Yeah.
Right?
And you will literally find all the ways to become broke.
You're gonna work a mediocre job where it ties you down to work 9 to 5, and you're living from paycheck to paycheck, right? You're gonna find situations where you surround yourself around that mentality of people, where they say that they're broke as well. So now there's a choir. You're broke, they're broke, everyone else around you are broke, and they're saying that they are broke. So what that is doing is that is making, you know, your path a path headed to being just broke.
Yeah.
You know? So the positive things, and man, let me tell you, my life changed about 5 years ago when I really got that. When I really got that and realized that how you think and how you your energy and the vibe that you have about things that happen in your life, how you think it, you know, it may not happen immediately, but it will come to fruition.
Yes.
And that's some great thing, man. You remember when we were working together, that's the time when I told you I wanted to purchase that Jaguar F-Type.
Yeah.
And as soon as I told Cody, I'm like, man, I want that Jaguar F-Type. Every freaking day we went to lunch, a freaking F-Type was passing by. I'm like, dude.
And when we talk about going to lunch, it's not like we went half an hour to get lunch. We're talking within 5 minutes we were wherever we were going to go to lunch.
Yes.
And he would see it.
Yes.
That's 5 minutes.
Yes.
All of a sudden it's changed.
Yes. So I'm challenging you right now as we continue to go on in this interview. I'm challenging you right now. That thing, and you know what that thing is that's in you, right? You know that hope or that aspiration is within you. You know what that is. I dare you to put your mind to it and don't allow anyone to negatively destroy your thought or destroy your drive to want to make it happen.
I'll double dog dare you on that.
I'm telling you, think it. And I want you to write me and let me know that, hey, David, based upon what Cody said in that day in that interview, He was like, my search engine, I changed, my negative thinking. I started thinking more positive. I started hanging around more positive people. I stopped hanging around negativity. I left the bullshit and the bullshit people behind, right? And I guarantee you, watch how things start changing in your life. I almost sound like a preacher right there. But no, but it's
true.
real.
It's true.
Watch how things start happening in your life based upon your thinking and your drive and your positivity behind your thinking.
And I would add this too. Mm-hmm. There are going to be some of you out there who that negative person in your life is your family, right? Wow. It's going to be your mother, your brother, your sister, whatever it is, your father.
Help somebody, man.
It could be anyone in your life, right? Yes, and sometimes those ties are not easy to cut.
Yes.
It's not just like, peace, I'm done with you, right? It's like, you come home on Thanksgiving and that person is there.
Right.
Right? So if that is the type of person that you see in your life that's kind of stopping you and putting that negative mindset into you, the key isn't necessarily you have to cut them off, right? If it's really bad, maybe you should cut them off. But if it's your mother and you really love your mother, right? That doesn't mean cut them off necessarily, right? That just means that you change the conversations you have with them and you have less conversations with them.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Handle them accordingly.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Because they're still your parents,
yes,
right? They're still your brother, they're still your sister, they're still someone you care about deep down, right? But sometimes the best medicine to yourself and to them, right, is sometimes you just have to distance yourself.
You have to.
Well,
you preach it to the choir, man. You preach it to the choir on that one, man. So with that being said, I think that takes us to a perfect platform to get you to empower me, empower someone that's listening today. Why is it imperative to surround yourself around positive people?
So one of my favorite examples of this, right? Think about you have a cup, right? And whatever you put in that cup is what'll fill that cup, right? So if you take a Coke, right, and you start filling that bottle up with Coke, it will be filled with Coke. Now, no matter how good Coke tastes, right, that Coke's not good for you.
Right.
That's the negative mindset.
Or Dr. Pepper.
Or Dr. Pepper, whatever that. Yeah, you called me out. That's okay. I have an unholy love of Dr. Pepper that I am working on and making better in my life. I am not perfect.
Right.
I can admit that right now. I know for a fact I am not perfect.
Yes, sir.
I don't expect anyone to be perfect.
Yes, sir.
Right? And people will mess up. You will mess up.
Yeah.
You will do things wrong in life.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean it's over.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so that's one of the things I'm working on
sir.
in my
Yes,
life.
sir. Yes, sir.
One of
Yes,
the
sir.
many things I'm working on in my life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you fill that cup with the negativity. Your cup will be filled with negativity. Right? Now, what you can also do is you can pour water into that cup, right? Now, when you first pour the water into that cup, right, it's still going to be pretty black, right? But the more and more you fill it with water, right, the clearer and clearer it gets.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Our mental system works the exact same way, right? You can't just expel the Dr. Pepper. You can't just expel the negative mindset, right? Whatever goes into your mind will always be there. The key, right, is that you need to start filling it with more positivity than negativity. There's some science out there that says that the ratio to positivity to negativity that you need in your life is about 5 positivity to every 1 negativity.
Wow.
To balance out your life. And so whatever negative stuff happens, you have to look to reduce it and then quintuple it with positivity.
Yes.
And there's lots of ways you can do that. Go watch YouTube videos of inspirational people. Go read books by people who have done great things. Right?
Yeah.
Find the history of people who've done awesome things.
Yes.
Go out and network with people.
Yeah.
Go find a class.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That with people that are having fun and doing good things. One of the things I do that I've been really working on this year is I've been wanting to re-dive into my martial arts at a high level.
Yeah.
And so I've been finding opportunities in Austin to do that.
Good.
This is one of the things. I made a decision at the very beginning of the year that I was going to do that no matter what. Right? And in the past, right, I've had thoughts in my head like, maybe the classes are going to be too expensive. Maybe my schedule won't let me go to these classes, et cetera, right? I found a class in my town that was free as soon as I made the decision that I was going to do it. Yeah. That's how crazy the opportunities are. You make the decision and all of a sudden you find exactly what you're looking for. Right? And so these opportunities for good things are literally everywhere. You can Google activities to do in your hometown, right? And it will give you so many things you can do tomorrow, today, right? I mean, what time is it? It's only 3:00 here in Central Time, right? The day is still young. You can do something positive in your life today. Right. You're listening to this right now. That is positive. Yeah. That is something that will help you flush out all the negative things and bring in more positive.
That's a... He said it. I mean, he said it all. So, for those of you with those Coke molecules in your life, you better start adding some positive purity to it, right? Some positive purity. Just keep adding to it until that darkness dissipates. Yeah. And I'm telling you, when that darkness dissipates in your life, it's like a whole different vibe that you have. You gravitate a whole different caliber of people around you. Your mind, your thought process is different, and you now learn to not deal with craziness or the negativity. You just, you brush it off and you just keep it moving. Yeah. You keep it moving. So, man, I think,
one more thing I would add to this, right? If you have been filled with a lot of negativity in your life, right? This process we're talking about will not be easy at first, right? It's not like you're going to start listening to stuff and then everything right away is completely changed. Yes. It's going to take some time. Right? To change your mindset. It's going to take time to see things differently, right? And that's okay, right? You're going to fall back into that old mindset sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? You're human. That's just how we are, right? The longer you've lived in something, the harder it is to change it, right? But you can still change it. Right. It will take time, but you will change it, right? So if you falter, if you have a tough time, don't just let it all go to waste. Keep moving forward step by step by step. And eventually you will get to the point where you want to be. Yes. The key is consistency. Keep going. Don't give up. Have some grit, right? Yeah. And you will get there. Yeah. I guarantee you will get there if you do not give up.
Yep. Don't lose the tenacity. Yeah. Do not lose the tenacity. Trust me. And another thing, Cody, I'm glad that you said that, when you identify this negativity, whether if it's family negativity, whether if it's friend negativity, coworker, whatever.
Or self negativity. And those are sometimes the smallest little things that have such big impacts in us. Wow. Right? Wow. Like in my own life, right? My mother was very positive, right? Going throughout school, she would always tell me that I can do better, that you're capable of more, right? She's saying all the right things. Now, there were certain subjects in school that I was just not very good at, right? Like all of us, my honest opinion is there's some major flaws in the school system. That's another completely different topic. Yes. But I would have these classes where I would continue to fail, right? And my mother would say, you can do better than this. I know you can, right? Mm-hmm. But my own thoughts were, I don't know how I can do better than this. Right. And if that's true, maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am. Right. Maybe I'm not really that good. Right? And that was me. That wasn't anyone in my environment telling me that. Yeah. That was me. Yeah. And I did not realize I told myself that until about 2 years ago. Right? And I self-sabotaged myself a lot. Yeah. Because of that small thought that I put in there. Yes. Not anyone else, that I put in there. Right? And I have worked hard to get over that thought. Yeah. Because it's not true. And I know it's not true now.
Right. And in your process of identifying the negative energy that's around you. He said, even though he said it's not easy, it's imperative that you make a decision what you will do. Because if you continue to stay around it, because, sometimes we can make a decision to identify where negativity is in our life, and then we allow the negativity to make us feel like bad because we've made that decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a big thing with business owners, right?
Yes.
Business owners will say, I'm going to start a business. I have a really good idea that I really think is going to happen.
Right.
And then their family's like, you're crazy. That idea will never work. Who do you think you are that you can start your own business and be a big time CEO?
Right.
And they will put you down because, not because you don't have the capability of it. They'll do it because they have insecurities in themselves.
Bingo.
That they are putting onto you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they don't even realize they're doing it, right? That their mindset is they want to try and protect you from failure. Right? Because in our society, we have this huge thing where we tell ourselves that failure is bad, right? And that's wrong, right? Failure is necessary to get to success. Yes. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times at creating the light bulb before he created the light bulb. Now, what would have happened if he decided at 999, everyone's told me for years I can't do this. Yeah. I've gone through it over 900 times, and it's just not working. I'm going to give up.
Right.
Where would we be today? We'd be in a world without light, without internet, where we couldn't talk to you right now. If he decided to give up at the 999th time because of other people's insecurities, right? He decided that he was going to do it no matter what. I will fail 10,000 times before I get to it, right? And I will get to it or I will die. That was the decision he made, and he did it, right? And you can make the same decision in your life with whatever you want to do. You can say, I will achieve what I want to achieve, or I will die.
There you have it. And it is so great that you would say the whole piece about, just encouraging others to not just settle, man. Every single time I get a chance to talk to my godchild, Sterling, we always talk on the phone, and he'll say, "Hey, Pyran, I'm getting ready to." That's Pyran. That's the Cajun way of saying Godfather. Yeah. So we say Pyran and we say Nanan. So that's our Godfather and Godmother. But he always say, he'll be on the phone and he'll say, "Well, I'm getting ready to go do this and I'm getting ready to go do that." And I'm like, why are you going to do that? So I steady challenging him to not get comfortable where he is. Yeah. And if we had more individuals like that in life that would empower individuals to do great. Let me tell you something, man. Since we're talking about the church with your leader, the black church. So let me take you to the black church real quick. So in the black church, you can get people that will get up there for a solo or will get up to read something in church and they didn't prepare and they sound a hot mess. And you get people in church saying, "Good job, baby, good job. You're doing a good job, sweetheart." And will encourage them to do it. But if you would go to them with a idea about a business or, I want to be the president or something that just sounds
outside of the norm.
Outside of their norm in their head.
Yeah.
Then that's when you get discouraged about, you sure you want to do that? I don't think you can do that, right? You cannot be around that type of stuff. There is nothing impossible. And Cody, you said it today. Whatever you put your mind to, there's nothing impossible to you achieving it. You know why? Because you control it. You you control the energy that's around you. He said it earlier. He said that if where is it? Damn, man, I wrote so much stuff down. He said that you control your search engine. So instead of thinking those negative things and your search engine bringing all those negative things around you and those things start playing out in your life, change your search engine to start thinking more positive, and then those things will start happening in your life. And I know some people may be like, oh, there he goes with that shit. He's always talking about positive, 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 positive. Yes, guess what? I'm always talking about positive, even though there's negative things happening in the world. Key point in time. We're still all discombobulated because the government, and one thing I don't get involved in, I don't get involved in politics. Cody knows me. Even on the teams that I manage, I tell all of my managers and my employees, do not discuss politics on this team. But even though we're torn apart about the government being shut down, I guarantee you, across the United States, there are people that are celebrating today for the Super Bowl. So we have to balance what we allow ourselves to take in, what we allow to impact us. Now, watch this. I guarantee you, and I don't watch the news because I'm not a news person, but I guarantee you on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, maybe sometime next week, to get your momentum and your drive off the good time that you had today for Super Bowl because your team won, because the NFL, didn't do mine good, right? Didn't do the Saints good. Poor NFL. You shouldn't have done that. But Tuesday and Wednesday is going to be something happening in the world that's going to take your focus off of your positive mindset and now bring you to this negative place.
Yeah.
You control it. Don't allow it to happen.
Now something really interesting that you said in there is your point of view on the news, right? You don't watch the news. Yes. I don't watch the news either. And there's actually a really good reason not to watch the news.
Yes.
It's because the news is literally designed to make you hyper addicted to it by showing you negative things. Like, literally, that's what it's designed to do. The mind, our minds are thousands and thousands of years old.
Yes.
Right? And so there's a point in existence, right, mm-hmm. where the mind had to know negative things for survival, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. If you wanted to survive and there was a saber-toothed tiger, your mind needed to tell you, I need to make a run for it.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If your mind did not do that, you would literally have died, right? So that's old programming that we have in our mind.
Right,
now, we don't have that problem anymore, right? Like, your chances of encountering a lion is almost zero.
Right.
Unless you decide to go to the zoo, and then it's still behind a barrier.
Right.
So, like, you don't need to be hyper aware of all the negative things that happen in life anymore because we've designed life to be completely different. Right? But that same way the mind works is still in our brain, right? Mm-hmm. And the people who create the news understand this.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so they know that if they give you the top negative thing, that your mind will go, what is that?
Frantic,
right?
Become frantic, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so they literally design the news to be filled with as much negativity as they can mm-hmm. in order to make you watch it. Mm-hmm. Because your mind wants to know, what are all the negative things so that I can avoid it, mm-hmm. right? So
that's what television does.
That's what it does, right? Yes. Instead of doing that, right, I don't watch the news either. Mm-hmm. So I would recommend just get rid of the news. Yeah. You don't need it. Yeah. If there is something important that goes on, guess what?
You will find
99% of the rest of the population already knows what's happening, and they'll bring it to your attention.
Yes.
Right? You don't have to fill your mind with it all the time.
Yes.
Or you can get like a news aggregator app on your phone, on your desktop, whatever it is, that sends you specific things to be looking for, mm-hmm. so that you only get information that you're specifically looking for, and the rest of it you can ignore.
Yeah. You control what you digest. You control what you take in.
Yeah.
And if you was to take my advice, always take in things to build you, things to grow you. Take in things that will bring you to where you need to be. So, man, today it's just been great talking to this guy, man. We went on a whole different lane talking about positivity, and he did such an amazing job, man. I just appreciate you for coming in today, man, because I share with you all the time, how much you mean to me, man. This guy here, for some of I'm not degreed. However, I've been favored and blessed with the mind to think through analytical things and put things in front of me and I'm able to work through those things. Man, this guy right here, when I first started off, I got you. And he used to, look what he used to do. So I used to write emails sometime, and I told him, man, I'm transparent, dude. So I used to write emails, and I had to write emails to, executives in a company. And I'm like, damn, man, I want to make sure my grammar, because English and grammar was my worst subjects in school. So what it did was, God put me in the right position to be with this young man, and he used to proofread my emails and make sure he was, David, man, this is a run-on, man. A comma goes here, man. What are you doing? So because of his help, he has impacted me to be who I am today, man. And everything I put my mind to, he said, man, do it. You can do it. So, I just thank you for empowering me, dude.
Definitely. And this is another thing, right? Degrees, they're just pieces of paper.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they don't really mean anything, right?
Yeah.
Your skill, your tenacity, your drive, those are things that are going to lead to you having success or not. Yeah. There are people, right, with doctorate degrees who are working at Starbucks and feel like there's no future for them, right? They got so much education, so much money, and they're working nowhere. Right? Versus this guy, right? He is not educated at that level, who is killing it in life right now, right? Don't let other people's standards keep you down. You can accomplish whatever you want. He is living proof that whatever you want to chase after, that whatever you want to accomplish, right? Screw the rest of it. Screw other people's standards. It doesn't have to define you. You define the standards that you want to create in life. Right? And you're living proof of that.
Man, thank you, man. Thank you, man. I really just appreciate you just 100 times 100, man. I just appreciate you, man. You've always been that person to empower and encourage. And to see you in this light, you've grown to be this young man that is empowering and talking to others about leadership. Well, since my boy's in town, he came in for this live interview. I'm preparing him some Cajun. Him and his fiance is over there in the living area. Janelle, say hello, Janelle.
He is good at cooking. He is so good at cooking.
Yeah, man. So I prepared this young man and his fiance some New Orleans Cajun balls. So I thank you for your time, for logging in and seeing this empowerment talk with our special guest, Cody Wooten. We want you guys to follow us on YouTube. The YouTube page is Arise with David. You can search for it and you'll find it there. So we're just in the process of building that page. So there's a couple of videos that are other empowerment talks that we have done. So tomorrow you will see this live video on our YouTube page. Also, log in to our website to get the latest and greatest that's going on with Arise with David at www.arisewithdavid.org. We'll see you in a couple of more weeks where we will be talking, if I get my words out, where we will be talking with a great friend, a great relative of mine. Many of you know her. She's a great dynamic salonist. She's they don't call him hairdresser. I guess you can call it like hair tech, a hair technician here in the local DFW area. But even though she makes women look beautiful with her style, and she also has her new product, she also has a story, and she also has a word of empowerment for you to come up out of whatever you're in, to know that whatever you put your mind to it, you can do this. Well, hey, we thank you for tuning in with the Arise with David movement. And just like our quote says, your tomorrow gets its momentum from the words that you speak today. Eliminate yourself from negativity. And like Cody said today, you control your search engine. So start thinking positive. So therefore, positive will begin to surround itself around you. Hey, until next time, we'll see you, and we'll continue to keep you in our thoughts and keep you in our aspirations. Until next time, you keep continuing to rise with David.